Episode 6, and we all in the mix. Your boy Suge D, and just so you know, I am coming back ultra victorious. Not only your New South heavyweight champion, but also now the freelance wrestling heavyweight champion. That's right, 2 belts. Sorry if it made your sound go up obnoxiously there. I'm just very happy. 2 companies that I'm super proud of being a part of, just in the most major of ways. So I'm just very happy to be standard bearer for both of their championships. Next show for New South Wrestling will be January the 6th, and next show for Freelance Wrestling will be January the 12th. This is huge for me. I definitely celebrated my freelance victory with some ramen over at Old Furious Spoon. Please give them a look and also an eat if you're ever in the Chicago area. 3 locations now. They are definitely off what they call the chain. Very nice. That said, episode 6, after a pretty heavy episode 5 last go around, I think we'll get back to a little bit more of just kind of being a little bit more lighthearted for episode 6. But still, I think that's a sleeper one for those who haven't had the chance to listen to it. Episode 5, if you got an opportunity, please give that a listen. And just remember, men, it's time we do better. It's time we live up to the expectations that I feel like the opposite sex have for us. That said, just a quick word, and we will be here with episode 6, some newness from Funny Cash Shows. Holla back. Depression affects approximately 14.8 million Americans each year. It's time we fought back. Professional wrestler Tara Calloway had high hopes of showing those who struggle with depression that they are not alone in the fight. Those hopes have now been turned into a project that is dedicated to helping those who are wishing to find a different way, a positive way of being able to battle their depression. Dropkick Depression offers an online help center and resources for those who wish to reach out and get help handling their depression, as well as also offering fundraising and awareness campaigns to bring light to the fact that depression is not just a mood. And suicide is a very large and growing problem in our world that we are trying to help prevent by showing value in those who have to deal with this. Dropkick Depression also has the resources for you to be able to organize and put on events, be it professional wrestling shows, 5K runs, or other creative activities to help bring awareness to this cause and bring light to the growing troubles of depression in our society. You can find them at dropkickdepression.com, and you're also able to reach them on Twitter at Operation DD. That is Operation DD. Please help us kick out at 2 on the fight against depression. And remember, you are not alone in this fight. Reach out, let's make that hot tag, and let's fight depression together.
It's about that time, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the soul seductive sounds of the Soul City Shouty. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Sugar D.
We still here. God. Everybody have a seat. Sit on down. Yes. Your host, Sugar Dunkerton, in the house. Feeling good and back for another episode of Funny Cash Shows. Episode 6, all in the mix. Very happy to see you here. We're still around, yeah. Them listens and them views are coming in, man. So I can't knock it. Can't knock the hustle, baby. Oh my goodness. So, we've had some heaviness pretty early in this series. Oh my God. Like episode 4 and episode 5, I feel like really crept up on some folk in terms of the subject matter, even though we were still keeping it funny. And I mean, I like that. I like the ability to be able to kind of turn the dial up, turn the dial down, and still be able to keep the kind of format that I like to keep on this particular program. So I appreciate you guys sticking with it and enjoying it and getting the most out of it. Like, that truly means a lot. And the fact that you stuck with it, I mean, either you are really looking to enrich your lives and, like I mentioned as far as the tagline of this show, you're really up for hearing about the stress and the mess that comes with chasing success, or you're just a masochist at heart and you just like being mentally broken by strange stories that you have to have a weird sense of humor to enjoy. I don't know. I don't know which is you. I'm just glad you're paying attention. Speaking of paying attention, I think I got a lot of people doing just that, especially after last week where I took my second championship title, this time in Chicago for freelance wrestling. Had me a good old time, walking into the opening match, took the title, and then redefended it the same night against Robert Anthony and Kobe Durst, and still walked home with it. So definitely very humbling and just great moment. It's something I've been chasing for the past 3 years in Chicago, and it makes all those drives and just the hard work and the bumps and bruises worth it to know that I was able to add my name to the list of great champions that are a part of the fabric of freelance wrestling. If you've never been to a show, it's absolutely something special. Like, you just have to see it so that you could know exactly what I'm talking about and exactly what I sacrificed my time and my my health for, just to be able to see grow. I got problems with the metal detector now. Between the New South title and the freelance title, your boy is just, oh my God, just all gold, everything just weighed down in the best kind of ways. So that's definitely something that, like, I just can't help but just feel blessed that I'm in a position to be able to do. And I wouldn't be there if it weren't for the fact that there were just so many people that were so supportive and letting me make memories for them. Isn't that what it's really about, though, when it's all said and done with any kind of art form that you choose to do? To me, it's all about the memories that you make and the impact that you have. Whether you sing, whether you paint, wrestle, act, whatever it is that you do as a form of art, I feel like the highest compliment that could be paid is just being in a position where when somebody experiences what it is that you have to offer the world, they're able to just digest it and not only have this unique feeling of enjoyment for it, but also be in a position where if somebody had to ask them, hey, do you remember the first time that you heard this song or you saw this match, they could vividly be able to describe that and point that out to somebody. That's huge. You live forever when you do things like that and you're able to create that for people. And I think that's the difference between stuff that stands the test of time and things that are good for the moment and then just go away. Like, who wouldn't want to be that person that's absolutely remembered and fondly remembered even decades after from the moment that they were first experienced? That's usually my aim anytime I try to do anything that is entrenched in a form of art. Even this show that I'm doing right now. Like, I want people to be able to go back and listen to it more than once. If they're feeling bad or if they feel like they've lost their way, they can listen to the show once, twice, 15, 20 million times and just be able to really let it saturate and just become a part of them and just know that this is a safe place and a safe space for their thoughts and for their happiness, because they know they can always reach towards it and just get that same feeling that they got the first time that they had it. I think that's one of the biggest allures about my chosen art form. It's just the fact that I'm able to leave memories in all sorts of different places. I'm leaving pieces of me in the minds of so many different people so that even when I'm not here anymore, hopefully what I've done still has a hold on them. And I got to leave all those pieces in, like, Indiana, Illinois, Pennsylvania, back home in Georgia. In Georgia, that was especially cool because that was for Mucha Lucha Atlanta, which is a Lucha Libre show. So, I got a good quotient of the people who don't speak English. And we were still able to make beautiful, beautiful moments and beautiful music together where language wasn't even necessary. We were just able to make it happen, like, regardless. So I love that kind of stuff. Now, when you talk about making memories and remembering where you were, The other thing about memories that I love is memories can sometimes be very subjective in terms of how awesome they were. To have somebody else describe the same thing to you, it may not necessarily have the same flavor or the same effect, but that's because that's not their memory of it. It's yours. I have fond memories of the movie Surf Ninjas, and I still love that movie. And my good friend Mike Bradley, actually went ahead and he texted me a line from them after I put in some work over at Freelance, and it made me smile, like just seeing the line, because I knew it exactly like the moment that it got sent to me. And there are very few movies in the world that just put a smile on my face like Surf Ninjas. It just does it for me. And there are some people who want to hate on it. They say it's cheesy, it's this and that. I don't care. Like, we're right back to that whole thing where in the social media era, everybody's opinion became fact. That's your opinion, man, about the movie Surf Ninjas. If I could, I'd give it an Oscar every year. Like, I would, because it was just that good. It was that good for me. And I feel like today's story is going to be one of those as well, too, because if you have the right setting, the right moment, just the right build up and setup to create a memory, it lasts forever, and it enhances the enjoyment of whatever it is that you have that memory about. And for me, it could be small for some, but to me, it was huge in just the way that it came about, and it created like a very fun, like very lighthearted, but a very fun story. And I can't help but be reminded of it because during my 4-day escapade, I was joined by someone I hadn't rode the roads with in some time, in Anthony Henry. Anthony Henry is also he's picking up steam very quickly in terms of independent wrestling. And he actually is a part of my original training school when I started off wrestling. And we're the last two standing. And, I think we're both doing pretty well for themselves. I'd like to think he's the very opposite, the antithesis of my style of particular wrestling. He's very rough and tumble and, kicks and forearms, and I'm going to hurt the guy. And I'm very let's have a good time. But if I got to hurt you, I guess I'll hurt you kind of guy. And we got to just run those roads for a good little bit last week. And it just got me to thinking about this. And I think I even told him that I was probably going to tell this story when it was time to record again. And I don't think he believed me, but here it is. So, it's going down whether he likes it or not. Hopefully he likes it enough so that he doesn't want to kill me. Because for anybody that saw the match that he had in Indiana, oh my God, I think he's very capable of doing it. So we'll be back momentarily to have a little story that relates to just memories and how they can affect somebody and how good they can be for somebody. And other than that, all I can tell you is I just can't put into words how grateful I am that you guys decided to stick around, not only for another episode of this, but for those of you who support me in any of my endeavors. Just the fact that, you're believing, you're choosing, you're making an active choice to choose me every time. Like when something goes on, or when you're wanting to laugh, or when you're just wanting that moment to really just help you escape, you choose me. And you can barely put that in any kind of words. That's huge for me. I just wish I could buy all of you a promise ring and just go steady. Or I wish I had like a Letterman jacket or something I can give all of you, but that's going to get expensive very quickly. So I just have this and a thank you that I can give you. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to have a few words. And then when we get back, it's story time with your boy Shug D. And I'm going to talk about how even the silliest of memories can be the strongest. Funny Cat Shows. See you in a bit. 2018 is quickly coming to a close, but that doesn't mean that I'm closing my doors anytime soon. You can catch your boy Shug D at these locations to close out the year. December the 21st for IWA Mid-South's Holiday Havoc in Memphis, Indiana. December the 27th for Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment Show of the Year 4 in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia. December the 28th for Nova Pro Wrestling Such Great Heights, stream live on Powerbomb.tv and also available to attend live in Annandale, Virginia. December the 29th for Wrestling Theology in the first round of their championship tournament in Carmel, Indiana. For bookings, please reach out to Sugardunkertonbro at gmail.com, t-shirts at prowrestlingtees.com/SugarDunkerton. And also remember, as a part of the Do No Harm campaign, we have 2 new designs that have just recently been added. Proceeds from the profits of those will be taken, where 50% of any profit from those shirts will be given to programs to help against abuse and sexual assault for females. For those looking to advertise and have their brand talked about on funny cast shows, please email Sugardunkertonbro at gmail.com and let's get it worked out. You deserve to have your brand talked about in the best, freshest way possible, and there's only one guy that's capable of doing it, and all you gotta do is send an email. That being said, appreciate you listening. Following back with more of Funny Cast Shows. And we're back. Yes. And it's that time of the show where we have ourselves a little bit of story time. Little bit, just a tad. Just a little sprinkle of that story time that y'all come for. I also got to mention too, I didn't have a chance to mention it earlier in the show, but I absolutely love when people come up to me and they mention how they've listened to the show, and then they ask me questions. Like, they ask me further questions about little things that we've talked about, or it's kind of like we have our own little in-joke whenever we talk about little things on the show. I definitely get asked about the petty tax often, a lot. And the biggest thing is, like, are certain endeavors worth being called, or are they worthy of the term petty tax? So I always have enjoyment being able to coach people along as to whether that's worth it, or hey, that's not really a petty tax or anything to that effect. I just like that it's becoming a part of people's lexicon, and it's also becoming a part of people's daily, that they're going ahead and they're making those kind of choices based off this show. So that's pretty cool. You don't want to petty tax everybody, though. Please don't petty tax everybody. That's going to become a problem. Don't let it become an addiction. No addiction. So as I mentioned earlier, Anthony Henry was a part of my original training class when I first started wrestling. So we had to ride the roads a few times together. As a matter of fact, I feel like there was 3 different phases of our career when we were riding the roads. The first one being when we were first starting out, trying to just get anywhere outside of Augusta. The second being when he took a very long break from wrestling and I kind of got him back into the swing of it. And then the third being just now that, like, we're the only 2 left standing as a part of our class, occasionally, we jump in and we make some things happen. I mean, he's got some stuff going, I got some stuff going. I think we're both doing pretty well right now. I don't think we both could have imagined that, we'd be at a position where it'd be our main job, like we're paying our bills off of it, yet here we are, and, we're making things happen. So, here's to the dreamers, and here's to making stuff happen. That said, I wish to take you back to a time where Anthony and Henry and I experienced quite possibly one of our most fondest memories. And in a way, I'm a little hurt because I tried to bring it up to him when we were on the road. And I don't know if it was just he was tired or he's been hitting the head that many times, or literally it just wasn't as affecting as it was for me. But when I tried to tell him about this story, he was like, I have no memory of that. However, I do remember the fact that, like, and it was what he remembered, because he remembered more so the fact that the show that we were going to, I was originally told to be there. And then when we got there, at the time, and this is a beef that has long since been buried, but at the time, the booker of the Friday Night Wild Side shows, and we're not talking about like NCW now. The NCW is a whole different concept. So here we go. We're about to start getting all WrestleNomics on you guys. So just hang in there with me. I'll try to make it make sense. Wildside was like a very strong and popular independent company around the Georgia area, and a lot of people made it out of there. There was a lot of good talent. You got your Deliriouses, Matt Seidel, Slim J, who's now going by Jeremiah the Gladiator, Azrael, the Lost Boys, some guy that you may know named AJ Styles. I don't know. You might watch him on WWE every week. Stuff like that. And that was a very active part of my, I'm still young, but my younger days in terms of goals of what I wanted for myself when I was chasing it. Of course, in those younger days, I didn't exactly wrap my head around, I guess, just people and how I was and how I was acting. And I mentioned that in a few episodes earlier, how sometimes you just don't know socially how stuff will affect you. So at the time, one of the bookers was a man by the name of John the Body Johnson. One of those ironic nicknames because he had no body to speak of. And if we were talking about the kind of body that he had, it would be round. He would probably be the first one to tell you that. I think the world of John the Body Johnson now, but at the time, he didn't really think much of me, and I really didn't think much of him. And I quickly found out that when somebody in power doesn't think much of you, that can be very, very, very bad. Because that particular show, there was supposed to be a big battle royal, or as they called it around our parts, a mega rumble. Yup, and you got to say it just like that, mega rumble. Anyway, the week before, I was told to show up by the owner of the company, not the booker. And I hopped in with Anthony Henry. At the time, it was Rockstar Anthony Henry. And he had like the trash bag pants and the terrible highlights, red, I believe, that were all the rage back in that day. And his girlfriend at the time, Kitty Roddick, I think at the time she was spelling it with a Q. So people were really jacking it up and calling it Rotique at the time. You know, it's like almost like a couture, you know, the way that they were making it sound. Fortunately, she changed it to a C with enough time. That way people just did not get that thing messed up or whatever it is. So went up there. I got changed, but John noticed that I was getting changed, and he took it upon himself to make sure that I was not booked. I was thoroughly unbooked, even though I was asked to be there the week before. And he turned it into a lesson, pretty much telling me, you don't get changed unless the booker says that you go get changed. And I pretty much wasted 2 hours. Well, we'll say 4 hours. Well, hold on. If we got to count the entire show, the entirety of the show, I wasted 6 hours of my life on the way up there, and gas money. That's the part that Anthony Henry was laughing about, because he was like, I just remember you driving up, like us riding up there with you, and then you were excited about the booking because it was like, man, here's my chance. And then they told you weren't booked, and then we were like, and then we got back in the car, and we were like, hey man, we know the booking didn't go through or anything like that, but we still need that gas money. And I was like, bro, I didn't even get to work. Like I didn't even get my $5. Like I can't even I ain't get my $5 in a handshake to even be able to give you. He's like, yeah, man, but still, miles and miles. So I still had to come off that gas money for absolutely nothing. I showed up, I paid gas money just to chill in the back and get a petty lesson pretty much from John the Body Johnson. Time passed, feelings changed, and now me and John are perfectly fine. I see him, I hug him, all that other good stuff like that. But yeah, we thoroughly hated each other around that time. So yeah. That's an example of, I wouldn't call it petty tax, but that is an example of being able to throw your weight around when you have those opportunities to do so. My story is more so based around what happened on the drive back and how I was introduced to a little song by the name. You know what? I'm not even going to drop the name yet. Not even going to do it because I have to make sure that I put respect on the name of the song that is coming next in this story. So here we go. Now, during these days, this was a much simpler time, a time where a great journey wasn't the 12-hour one-way drives that I make to Chicago about twice a month. No, this was a much easier time where a whole 2.5 hours was a complete odyssey. Jumping in a car and going all the way from Augusta, Georgia to Cornelia, Georgia. Old country Cornelia, where going to McDonald's was a suit and tie affair. Yep. Lurlane, put on your party dress. We're going to get a Big Mac. Yeah, that's kind of what it was sometimes. So, it is what it is. I mean, if you really, really, really wanted an alternative fancy, you could do Wendy's as well, too. And personally, I would have because their chicken nuggets are the bomb. So, you get used to anything after doing it long enough. So, drives like that, like a 2.5 hour drive is like headed to the grocery store for me now. But, you still got to build a muscle memory for it. So at the time, 2.5 hours, oh my God, it was just sheer crazy at the time. But that's what you do when you want to make those sacrifices to be where you want to be. So, I just recall Wildside Friday letting out later than usual that night. I want to say it was around like 11 or 12. And, we were making that trek home. Anthony and Kitty were obviously a little tired because I believe they both worked that day and then they both wrestled that night. Myself, I also worked. Wish I could say I did wrestle, but as I precursed before, I guess I was just more tired from being upset than anything. So we're making our way back. Time's starting to flake off and whatnot. We're about an hour into our journey, and Kitty's already knocked out. Like somebody already hit her with the Whipple pill. She is done. In the passenger seat, just conked. So it's just me and Anthony left. I've kind of got the lean going on in the back seat where it's like, my legs are on the left hand side, but my body is on the right hand side, and it's just it's not good. Like I'm trying to do my best to like kind of cradle myself up so that like I don't fall asleep because I'm trying to be a good wingman, but at the same time, I'm just not quite feeling it. I'm ready to pass out too. Anthony is a little droopy eyed, like he's doing the best that he can to keep them things open. Car slightly swerves once or twice, and of course, when you're tired like that, the excuses just start coming out of nowhere. It's like, oh man, squirrel. It had to be a squirrel, weren't no squirrels, it was tiredness, and when you're on them country roads like that, it just take one little swerve, to turn you into, an in memory T-shirt. Like you know what I'm talking about, the badly cropped in memory T-shirts, the white tee, and they always manage to find like that one photo of you that's unflattering, and then they blow it up. It's uncropped. It's not a good design whatsoever. Like I need everybody to know if I die and like in memory of Suge shirts start running around and y'all use like one of my high school photos or something like that, I'm gonna come from my grave and haunt every last one of y'all. It's gonna be some horror movie stuff, like real talk. Like I refuse to go out that way, or at least get a good graphic designer. Get Derek Sharp from Curtain Jerker Designs or something like that. Like don't do me. Like don't do it. Oh man, I got kind of heated about a hypothetical death situation. Oh my god, it wasn't even the death that got me mad. Is how y'all choose to remember me. Yeah, I can't go out like that. So safe to say this drive isn't going very well. And we had 10 hours left to go on this drive, which in reality was probably only about like an hour and a half or whatever. But like regardless, like it might as well should have been 10 hours at that point because we were both like not feeling it. So as the drive continues, a little bit more swerving goes on. I finally just kind of whisper, it's like, yo man, like Anthony, like cut on some tunes or something, man. You know what I'm saying? Something. I was just hoping something would come on, and this is the era of like crunk rap. So I was just hoping something would come on, like Lil Jon would just come on the radio and talk about, just some loud, obnoxious, good old fashioned sing song rap about partying, and that would have kept us alive. So we turn it on, and in classic sitcom fashion, it seems like there's nothing but just the slow jams coming on. And the last thing you need at this time is like some slow jams. And like, it's already late at night. You already want to go to sleep. And then you got like 112 or something like that trying to sing you a lullaby to die in a car crash. Like, sorry, it's just not happening. So we're hanging in there as best as we can. Little bit of swerve here, a little bit of swerve there. You know, I got that whole grandpa resting my eyes thing going on at the moment. I'm just like, no, I'm not asleep, man. I'm not asleep, man. I'm just resting my eyes, dog. Just resting my eyes, dog. Anthony, you good up there? Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just tired, man. I'm just tired. We'll get there. We'll get there. So then, in the midst of the grip of eternal slumber comes a song that graces the radio, freshly debuted on whatever station we were listening to. I wasn't all the way sure. I want to say it was probably like, I want to say it's whatever the pop station was at the time or whatever it is, but like it was freshly debuted it only been out probably about a day or two prior. And it was just the timing of the song and how it came on. You might know it. And if you know it, feel free. I gotta make sure I do it justice. I don't exactly have the best singing voice in the world. So if you hear like a little bit of a gulp, that's me on this hot tea right now, trying to make sure I got my vocals right for what's going on. So hold on. You can just hear it right now. Just look. Oh God. Oh. There it go. Lock it in. All right. Here we go. So it comes over the radio and it hits a little something like this. So fly, so tight, you got me lifted, got me lifted, gifted, higher than the ceiling, and ooh, it's the ultimate feeling, you got me lifted, feeling so gifted, sugar, how you get so fly, sugar, how you get so fly, sugar, how you get so fly. Okay. I don't know if you know that song or not know that song, but if you don't know that song, I don't know where you've been. I don't know what you've been doing with your life. I need you to go on Spotify or I'm not saying that you should illegally download a song, but like just however it is that you get up and hold of the song, I need you to look up the beauty that is Sugar, Suga, space, I repeat, Suga by Baby Bash. That was the song that came over the radio. We were mystified at the beautiful hybrid of rap/singing and the piano that graced us that night. The combination of pillow talk, allusions to ganja, slight gangster shit, and just outright smoothness with an overall message of how much someone's life has changed with the sweetness that they had to name it that Sugar. Greatest song ever. I'm not going to say it's the greatest song ever, but it's the greatest song ever. Okay? And I can't say, like, that song comes on now and a slight tear starts to form under my right eye. And for the 3 minutes and however long this song lasted, it was all me and Anthony could think about. Now, you have to keep in mind, we're both tired as hell, but this song came on and it was new to the both of us. We discovered this song at the exact same time. So he had the slight lean going on like he was going to pass out. I had the slight lean going on like I was going to pass out. But then, that beat started kicking in, that guitar started like kicking in a little bit. All we could do is nod. So we both had like these broken nods, like these slanted nods that were just going slowly to the beat of that song. And that's what kept us up. We were like both in amazement at how good this song truly was and how we never heard this song before, right? So we were just rolling in like this peaceful silence the whole time the song was on. And may I repeat, the song was killing it. Like the song was like sometimes I just randomly sprinkle. I label this show as explicit because sometimes, just words come out of nowhere. But these are words out of joy in which I'm about to say these curse words. This song was fucking it up, okay? Like, it decided, like, oh, you want some guitar? We got that. You want some piano? We got that. You want some Latin dudes just, like, straight just laying it down? We got that. You want some R&B? We got that. You want some rap? We got that. You want some space age sounding type stuff? We got that. How is Sugar not the most perfect song that has ever been made in the history of perfect songs? I just don't understand it. I don't see how somebody couldn't see it that way, and you're wrong. Like, I don't care what song you decide that you want to name after this. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Plus, this song saved 2 lives. We wouldn't even be able to have this episode if it weren't for that freaking song. Yeah, I'm standing for Baby Bash, okay? Like, I'm doing it, okay? But if I got people standing about this new whack Eminem album, then I'm going to stand hard for this song. Oh, God. I'm going to hear some crap about that. I know I am. Okay. Going forward, it wasn't so much listening to the song that made the experience. It was the aftermath when the song was over. So the song ends. I start to sit up. And it was like one of them life-changing experiences or something like that. Like that's the way I took it. Because when I sat up, I was awake. Like, I went from tired to awake. And I'm looking at Anthony, and I'm like, bro, that song was awesome. And he's driving, eyes facing forward, a little bit of focus coming back. And he's like, man, that song was pretty awesome, wasn't it? So we talked about this song for an hour and 10 hours. That's basically what I like to call that 10-hour trip, but really an hour trip. So for an hour and 10 hours, that's all we could talk about was this freaking song. We was breaking down the guitar. We was breaking down everything about that song. We weren't even sure that was really the name of the song after we got it. It's like, it was sugar, or it was like sugar. Was it 2 sugars and a cream, or like was it just 1 sugar, you know? And like it was, oh my God. But we were so enthralled by like how awesome that song was. Just the fact that it hit the way that it hit, it came at just the right time. We had to get caught up in the rapture that was that song, and it's all we could talk about on the way home. You would have thought that song had like the meaning of life and everything in it embedded within the lyrics, which there would have been no need, because everybody knows that, as Douglas Adams has pointed out to us, the answer is 42, but it is what it is. So I've never talked about a song that long, like the intricacies of a song that long with anybody. And it saved us, because I swear if we didn't have that to talk about, we were going to crash. We were going to end up in somebody's ditch, or like, you know, run up against a tree somewhere, and it would have been like two dudes and a girl, like completely smashed out in a car because they didn't sleep. And Sugar saved both of our lives. It saved Kitty's life. Speaking of Kitty, Kitty woke up, I believe, 20 minutes before we got home. And I just remember her waking up out of nowhere and just being like, she's like, hey guys, what's going on? And the both of us were so entranced by this song, we had to let her know. And it's like the way we were talking about the song, it's like she wasn't even convinced that it existed. So she wakes up and she's like, hey guys, she's like, what's up? So what's going on? I'm like, Kitty, did you know that you missed the greatest song that ever existed? And she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, there was this song that came on while you were asleep that is like the single best song that I've ever heard in my life. Like, it had guitar, and like it was like R&B, and I can't even really describe it. It's just like the dude was just saying like, Sugar, how you get so fly. It was just so good. And like, you were asleep. Like, you completely missed out on like the best thing ever, because you don't know how to keep your eyes open. And she's like, whatever. She's like, whatever, you know? And Anthony's like, no. He's not playing. That song was awesome. And I'm willing to bet that she probably thought that we had some drugs behind her back or something like that, even though both of us never took drugs or whatever it was. Because she just was not believing us. Like, she was trying to get proof what radio station wasn't on. She was flipping through channels, like trying to hear it to see if it would come back through again and whatnot. And like, we were convinced like that song got played just for us, and we were never going to hear that song again. So we were just like, you know, she's flipping through the dials and turning the knobs and stuff like that. And I'm like, Kitty, you can keep searching for it. You'll never find it. You'll never find it. It was just that good. You ain't gonna find that song again. And she's like, you're full of shit. She was like, there's no way that song could be that awesome. There's no way that song could have been that good. I don't know if it was just she was mad because she didn't hear it, or she really thought like I was playing with her, like we were ribbing her or whatever it is. But she got like mad. She got like mad that she didn't hear it. And you know what? She has every right to be, because there's no way that she would ever be able to experience Sugar Sugar the way that we experienced it. And she did end up hearing it like a few days later. She agreed it was a good song. She didn't think it was the greatest song in the world. But I don't care. Like, that song is the greatest song in the world to me because of how I found it, when I found it, and like the circumstances in which it came into my life. Like, I still love that song to this day, and it's one of my favorite songs that I absolutely listen to. It's still like a very, very heavy part of my playlist, and I can't change the how of how that came into my life, because I know it saved my life, and I know if I just heard it randomly on the radio one day, I probably wouldn't give it the same kind of thought. But given the fact that, like, when there was no hope, Baby Bash was there to bless us with a song so good that we talked about it for an hour and 10 hours. That's a lasting memory. Now, granted, it may not be a lasting memory for Anthony Henry because, you know, shots to the head and stuff like that. But for myself, who took a few less shots to the head, I will never, ever, 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 ever let Baby Bash go. Baby Bash would later follow this hit with a modestly less greatest song in the world hit by the name of Cyclone, which was good, you know, good by greatest song in the world standards, but not greatest song in the world standards like Sugar Sugar. Like I said, if you never heard it, you gotta look that joint up, man. If you already know it, maybe you just need to dust it off one more time and just listen to it again and just delve into it. Like, I could talk about the greatness that is that song all day. I just dedicated a whole episode to it. So you should just know how good I feel about it. But just know that that same song that you might have skipped over or was just a part of your greatest hits, your now 2045, now number 2071, like you might just skip over, had that kind of memory from me. And I feel like that's how it is in life sometimes. Like, we're very quick to slight what a memory could mean for somebody, or just think very little of, you know, just things in other people's lives. But you don't know how that particular piece of art or that particular memory affected that person. And like, something that small to you is the world to me, because I love that song. Because quite literally, that song saved 3 lives that night. I'm going to listen to it after the show is over. If I had the kind of budget and the copyright, that song would be playing us out right now. But I'm lacking this thing called a budget, so I'm not able to do so. But you feel free to repeat my interpretation, my slightly sung interpretation of it earlier in the show. Or, as I said, through the beauty of different streaming programs or YouTube or however it is you choose to get your music. Not judging. Just listening to that song and really, really taking it in and just letting it hit you. So yeah, guys, like, before we get out of here, all I'm asking you to do is, whatever it is that your art is or whatever it is that you do with your life, make a memory. Cherish your memories. Even if they're small to somebody else, they're huge in the greatest of ways to you and possibly somebody else in the future. Those who don't see it, that's on them. They just don't see it. But I guarantee you, everybody's got that one little thing, that one little memory, that one little just treasure of a time that they hold on to that nobody else is going to quite understand or cherish the way that they do. And that's the stuff that makes this life worth living. It's the stuff that makes you feel so fly like a dove, fly like a raven. Greatest song ever written. Greatest song ever released, Sugar Sugar. Oh my God. Play that at my funeral. Okay? You heard it. Only got 2 songs I wish played at my funeral. Okay? Booty Me Down by K Styles and Sugar Sugar. Please put Sugar Sugar at the end. Please. Please. I just get a feeling like when the casket get lowered, like mom don't want the other one on the way down. Like, please don't make mom cry. Please don't make mom cry. And that's it. Yet another episode of Funny Cash Shows. Please listen to Sugar Sugar. Give Baby Bash some spins or some streams or whatever it is. Put a little money in their pocket. And until next time, cherish the memories, no matter how small. Funny Cash Shows. Holla back.
This is Sugar D here, just letting you know that I do appreciate you for allowing me to slide in your MP3s right quick this week. If you wish to support the show and by proxy me, feel free to visit www.prowrestlingtees.com/Sugardunkerton. I got the threads that turn some heads. Please order a shirt, look good in the process. Treat yourself 2017. Also, you can feel free to make a donation to the show by using the crowdsource link that's available on this landing page at funnycashshows.podbean.com, or you can hit me direct at paypal.me/SugD. paypal.me/SugD, please. We appreciate the money that jingles, but we'll gladly take the money that folds. Sugardunkertonbro at gmail.com for any kind of bookings, whether it be hosting, professional wrestling, which is my main gig, as well as any other fun stuff that you want to send me. I'm all for it. Also, if you are looking for advertisement or to be a sponsor on the show, please email me, sugardunkertonbro at gmail.com. Not only are my drops plenty nice, but I also have got a lovely price if you're trying to make sure that you get some ears on whatever your brand or product is. Have a good one. I'll see you next week. Take care.